So for this video, you will learn a detail about acid. Okay, acid you must have the presence of water. Once acid put in water, they will ionize to produce H plus ion that which are free to move. So once they are free to move, then they will produce any reactions, or they can change the color of litmus paper. So but in the gas state, HCl cannot show these properties because they doesn't have free moving ion. In the gas or in dry state, they don't have water. So when you don't have water, the acid cannot ionize. So once the acid cannot ionize, you doesn't have the free moving ion. Okay, that is the role of water, the importance of water, so that the acid or alkali can ionize to produce H plus or OH minus ion which are free to move, so that these ions can show the properties of both acid and alkali. Okay, so that is the importance of water in acid and alkali reactions. Okay, but if you put acid in organic solvent, okay, you put acid for example in trichloromethane. Okay, what is trichloromethane? Trichloromethane is an organic solvent. So it's just like water can ionize the acid. Okay, as you learn that the water can ionize ionic compound. Okay, can dissolve the ionic compound. But for trichloromethane is a organic solvent. They can dissolve for organic solvent. So HCl in trichloromethane, they cannot ionize because trichloromethane is organic solvent. So once they can ionize, they will not produce H plus ion. So without H plus ion, HCl will not show any properties. Okay, so they will not ionize to produce H plus ion, so they will not show any properties of acid. Okay, so that's why the importance of water. Okay, so if you want to have the reactions for acid and alkali, you must put water. If you put another things except than water, then the reaction cannot happen because both acid and alkali cannot ionize in organic solvent. Okay, that is the, you need to understand the role of water and organic solvent. Okay, so I think you already learn about properties of acid. Acid, as you know, they are sour, they are corrosive, the pH value less than 7, and they can change the blue litmus paper to red color. Alright, okay, so why they have these properties? This all because of H plus ion. Okay, why they can change litmus paper to red? Because you have H plus ion, but to have H plus ion, you must put them in water. Okay, so that is the importance. You ionize them first, you produce the hydrogen ion first. Okay, now we talk about the chemical properties of acid. Okay, the chemical properties of acid, the first one is acid. Okay, this is the important, can react with magnesium or can react with metal. Okay, but not all metal can react with acid. So how you want to know? You should check your reactivity series that I give you in the last class. Okay, kalau nak kahwin mesti ada zakat fitrah supaya perkahwinan happy, cucu akhir hayat. Okay, if you see from this reaction, okay, acid means they have H plus ion. Okay, so at this point, all the metals above the hydrogen can react with acid, but metal that below than hydrogen cannot react. Why? Because at the upper part here, they are very active. So if they are very active, means that they can react with acid H. Okay, but this metal, they are weak because they are at the bottom position. So if or we call unreactive. So if they are unreactive, you cannot react with acid. Okay, so for example, you have HCl, okay, plus with magnesium ion, magnesium metal. So the reactions can be done. Why? Because if you see here, magnesium is more reactive compared to hydrogen, so of course the reaction can be done. So how to know your product? I think you should know already how to do the chemical equation. Okay, if you see here, you have Mg, which is the charge is Mg2 plus. Okay, and then you have H plus and Cl minus. Of course, Cl minus will partner with magnesium because the different charge. So you cross them, you will get MgCl2 So what happened to hydrogen? As you know, hydrogen is non-metal, they cannot stand alone, it should be stand as H2. Okay, so you balance, this is the balance equation. So now you know that the acid can react with any metal that are more reactive than hydrogen to produce salts and hydrogen gas. Okay, acid plus metal will produce salt and also will produce a hydrogen gas. Okay, so this is the first properties of acid. Okay, the second properties of acid and the second properties of acid is, for example, acid can react with metal carbonate. Okay, for the metal carbonate, all metal carbonate can react with acid regardless the carbonate is. Okay, but you need to understand here, carbonate, as you know, the symbol will be CO3 -2, right? Okay, for example, you have HCl react with for example, we take copper carbonate. Okay, copper carbonate means Cu2 plus and CO3 -2. If you cross them, you will get CO3. So the metal carbonate here, I'm using copper carbonate. You can use lead carbonate, you can use iron carbonate, magnesium carbonate, all carbonate you can use. Okay, so here you will produce, so here you have metal copper Cu2 plus, and of course the partner will be Cl minus. Okay, you try to do the cross multiplication, your product will be CuCl2. And what happened to your hydrogen? You have carbonate here. Okay, you need to understand here, carbonate, when they react with acid, they are compulsory produce CO2. Okay, here you need to remember and to take some note, carbonate, when they are react with acid, they are compulsory to produce CO2. Okay, and what happened, you only take CO2, you have one more oxygen and you have hydrogen here, so of course they combine together to become H2O. Okay, so you can balance now, hydrogen 2 you put 2 here, chlorine 2, Cu1, carbon 1, oxygen 3, 2 plus 1, you get 3, balance already. So from this reaction, what you need to understand is, you produce salt also. Okay, you produce salt, but you produce a different gas, which is CO2 gas, and also you produce water. Okay, compare with the first properties, they produce salt and hydrogen gas. Now by using metal carbonate, you will produce carbon dioxide and water as your product. So this is the second chemical properties about acid. Okay, so basically in reactions, you will when you put acid and copper carbonate, for example, this is the same thing for the acid plus metal. Okay, so you put acid and carbonate. Okay, so they have the reactions here. So basically you will put a stopper and a delivery pipe. Okay, so you will bubble them into a you will bubble them in, you will see a colorless bubble gas here, because CO2 you cannot see, so it will bubble gas, colorless. So you will put into lime water. Okay, what is lime water? Lime water to test CO2. Okay, so of course you know that you will produce CO2 will come up into the pipe, and then it flow here, it come into lime water. So once the lime water detect your CO2, they will change from colorless, they will turn into chalky or milky or cloudy. Okay, so if you see the lime water, the color is changed, you know that you already produce CO2. Okay, so basically you need to understand here, metal carbonate, once you put them in acid, of course they are compulsory to produce carbon dioxide. Okay, so but for these reactions, you cannot put this one in lime water, because your gas is hydrogen gas. For hydrogen gas, the reactions is different. How we test hydrogen gas, we will cover the analysis in the next chapter. Okay, so now if you see for now we move to the third chemical properties, where the acid, they also can react with metal oxide or bases. Okay, they can react with bases, means from the oxides or the hydroxides. Okay, you remember oxides means, for example, sodium oxide, Na2O. Okay, so hydroxide is NaOH. Okay, all of them are bases, but remember, not all bases are alkali. Only the one that's soluble in water, we call them as alkali. Okay, for the acid, for example, sodium oxide, they can react with this is your bases, sodium oxide, they can react with sulfuric acid, your acid. Okay, they produce what? Of course, sodium, they will take sulfate because of the different charges. Okay, so you can try to do the cross multiplication, you will get Na2SO4. So what happened? Hydrogen and O will combine, they become H2O. Okay, so here what do you see here? They produce salt and they produce water. Okay, so if you now if you check, it's already balanced. Okay, so for this reaction, you already learned in checkpoint year 9 that the acid, when they react with basic or the alkali, they will produce salt and water. So this is your salt. Sodium sulfate is your salt. Oh, you can use the sodium hydroxide plus sulfuric acid also. They will produce sodium sulfate sorry, this one basically we are using from the group non-group 1, magnesium oxide. So you will have magnesium sulfate here lah. Okay, so for group 1, basically we are using the alkali solution lah, sodium hydroxide. So sodium sulfate, and then you will have H2O. Okay, so you put 2 here because Na is 2, hydrogen 2 plus 2 4, so you put 2 hydrogen 4, oxygen 2, sulfate 1, already balanced. Okay, so now what you need to understand, all bases and alkali can react with acid. Okay, why I'm using group 2 as for oxide and group 1 for hydroxide? Basically, group 1 is we are using the hydroxide because they are soluble in water. So, and other than group 1, most of them we are using in terms of oxides because some of them can soluble in water, some of them cannot soluble in water. But basically the reaction is still the same. You will produce salt and you will produce water. Okay, so this is the 3 reactions that you need to know about for the acid. Okay, so for the alkali, as you know, alkali is very slippery. Okay, they are corrosive also. pH more than 7, they can change from blue to red, from red to blue for the litmus paper. For the chemical properties, as you know, they only can react with acid. Compared with acid, acid can have 3 reactions: react with metal, okay, react with metal, react with metal carbonate, and react with bases and alkali. So alkali only can react with acid, they doesn't have any reactions. Okay, that is the properties of alkali and acid. Okay, so if you see here in this book, it shows that the solid calcium hydroxide, if you see the diagram, there is no water, and you put red litmus paper. If you see here, calcium hydroxide, basically it should be alkali. If they are alkali, they must change the red litmus paper to blue color. Okay, for this one, they are the same thing, but you put water. Okay, so when you see the result here, there is no change. Why no change for the calcium hydroxide? Because they are not ionized in water. They doesn't have free moving ion. They don't have OH minus ion. when they don't have free moving OH minus ion, they cannot show the properties of alkali, so they cannot change the red litmus paper. But for this one, you put them into water, so of course they can ionize to produce OH minus ion in water, which are now free to move around inside the water. So when you have the free moving ion, they can change the red litmus paper turns to blue because they are alkali. Okay. Okay, so to check your understanding, we try to look at these questions. Okay. Okay, which of the following is true? All bases? Yes, all bases dissolve in water. Not all bases dissolve in water, so it's wrong. React with zinc. Okay, react with zinc. Bases cannot react with zinc. Only acid can react with zinc. Yes, they can react with acid, and they can show not not all bases can show alkaline properties. Okay, alkaline properties is for the bases that dissolve in water only. So not all bases can dissolve in water. So alkaline properties only can be shown if they are dissolved in water to produce OH minus ion. Okay, but all bases can react with acid. Okay, so that's all for now about the properties for acid and alkali. Okay, so I would just like to highlight here, you need to know about the pH scale. Okay, for the pH scale of the acid and alkali, of course, pH for acid less than 7, neutral is 7, alkali is more than 7. Okay, so for the next video, we will cover more about the strong acid, weak acid, strong alkali, and weak alkali. Okay, so I hope you can go through the exercise that I will give to you in the Google Classroom later. If you have any questions about this topic, you may text me through WhatsApp. Okay, have a happy holiday, everyone.